Hello everyone and welcome to another New World video. My name's Brian if you happen to be new to the channel, but if you're a part of this incredible 15,906 of y'all who are pushing us ever closer to the 16,000 subscriber mark, welcome in and welcome back, and thank you so much for being here. Huge shout out guys on the last video. You guys crushed it with over 120 likes, and thank you so much for like blowing through that 50 like goal that I put on that video. Let's keep it a hundred. 100. Let's keep it a humble 50 here to see if we can't hit that like goal as well. And I'm thrilled to be able to spend some time with you diving into the Flail showcase. If you guys have not been following along, Rise of the Angry Earth expansion, where the Flail will become available, drops on October the 3rd. The PTR should be live this week, and as soon as that happens, we'll be sure to giving you guys all the coverage that we can, breaking down all that you need to know about this upcoming expansion. But this post is detailed, so get a cup of coffee or a nice beverage and let's hang out and talk about it. So let's kick it off. It says, greetings adventurers. The Flail is a versatile one-handed weapon with the option for an off-handed shield. Use arcane magic to enhance its attacks and buff allies or debuff enemies to aid in victory. Through a combination of melee, arcane magic, and strong defenses, the wielder can bolster their group's effectiveness without having to drop the offensive. We joined the design team for more and a deeper look on that with the latest Forge and Eternum, which you guys can go watch for yourself if you want. I think it's definitely worth a good listen to in this case. Now, for the design of the gameplay here, what the Flail lacks in raw damage, it makes up for in survivability, support, and utility. Whether you swipe, thrust, strike, or unleashed magical AoEs, all attacks have buffs and debuffs that alter their combination function. Now, versatility here, the versatility, man, oh, dyslexia, man, it gets you every time. The other notable quality of the weapon, several Flail passives and upgrades function differently based on your shield type and the combat situation. The customization extends to the playstyle. Most abilities feature support-focused attack upgrades, so solo players can potentially forego these skills to better spec themselves for their own survival. Let's take a look at the stats here. The attack speed is going to be medium. The effective range is extended melee. Buffs, high. Debuffs, high. Rolls, support and tank. Strength, survivability, utility, and versatility support defense are its strengths, weaknesses, low damage, and 1v1 combat. Unique mechanics, extra range. Flail tip extends during attacks to add an additional reach, and impairment, a status effect that combines both a damage over time effect and weaken. Now, if we're going to compare this weapon to others, the Life Staff, it's weaker than the Life Staff in terms of healing and ranged. Now, it's about the same in terms of DPS and buffing, and stronger than debuffing and melee for the Life Staff. For the Void Gauntlet, it's weaker than damage, ranged, and healing. It's about the same regarding buffing and debuffing, and it's stronger than crowd control and survivability. Sword and Shield, it's weaker in this case versus defensive actions and tanking and DPS. It's about the same regarding buffing and support, and it's stronger in terms of its utility and its ally support. And for the Hatchet, it's weaker in terms of DPS and speed. It's roughly about the same in terms of self-buffing, and it's stronger than the Hatchet in the category of support. So let's talk about damage scaling and its comparison. So similar to the sword, most Flail damage will scale to strength. However, the weapon's utility and support will be linked to focus instead of dexterity. All healing and various other support functions scale exclusively with focus. And so you see the Flail and Shield, strength is 90% and the focus is 65%. Sword and Hatchet is strength is at 90 and dexterity is 65. Void Gauntlet is intelligence 90, focus is 65. The Ice Gauntlet and Fire Staff is intelligence 100. The Life Staff is focus 100. Great Sword is strength and dexterity both at 80. The Great Axe and Warhammer are both at 100% for strength, and Spear is strength 65, dexterity 90%. For various different pairings, the Flail is a solid weapon of focus for strength builds due to its support traits. It is not intended to be a strong DPS backup for other focus builds, aid in melee ranged combat, and help your allies succeed where these suggested weapons pairing. Flail and Life Staff, focus and support-based weapon. The primary use is for self and group survival and support healing. The Flail and the Void Gauntlet focus on support-based weapons. You can lean into the healing and the healing and support aspects, or utilize the Void Gauntlet's damaging abilities for more of a versatile combination of damage and support. For the Flail and the Sword and Shield, tank and support focused. Its primary use is for self-survival, support, and drawing and aggro. And then Flail and the Warhammer, Great Axe, Hatchet, or Greatsword. Off-tank DPS, this combination is used as a secondary on damage-focused builds and can add some survivability and buffing support. For the Cleric Weapon Mastery Tree, utilizes arcane magic to enhance the power of attacks, as well as auto-buffing and healing allies and debuffing enemies. For the Arcane Smite, area denial and damage control, upgrade support, strike the ground with arcane force and deal damage to all targets around the point of impact. A lingering area of effect attack will inflict impairment to any remaining enemies. This upgrade grants buffs and life steal. The Arcane Vortex, the area of effect and damage upgradable support, swirl the flail and create multiple hits of arcane energy around you and deal repeated damage to all nearby targets. This ability also creates an aura that empowers allies. An upgrade grants healing and a cleanse. That's nice. Arcane Eruption, damage over time and crowd control, upgrade support. Strike the weapon against the ground and unleash an eruption of arcane energy in front of you. This deals damage and inflicts impairment. You will also automatically follow up with a strong melee attack. Upgrades grant a small self-heal and a stronger chain heal to nearby allies. For Better Together Ultimate, while within close proximity of allies, everyone will gain a passive heal over time. Oh, I like that too. And notable passive, Leader of the Pack. When no allies are nearby, or you will deal increased damage. When one or more allies is nearby, they will deal additional damage. So that's, wow, those two are fascinating. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these two options here. Leader of the Pack versus the Better Together Ultimate. That's pretty interesting. I can't wait to see how this plays and what kind of builds we all come up with. For the Bastion Weapon Mastery Tree, utilizes crowd control and defensive strategies to buff self and support allies in combat. For Barrage, Gap Closer, and Damage, upgrade support. You sprint forward while passing through all allies and enemies and blocking all frontal attacks. Upon reaching the max distance or manual activation, leap forward, swirling the flail, and then slamming the flail into the ground, dealing damage at the impact point. For the upgrade, you can inflict some damage to the area around impact point and fortify allies within range. For Trip, this is crowd control. Swing the flail towards and trip the target around in front of you and knock them to the ground. This upgrade adds a rend to the target and fortified to self. You can also deliver a powerful follow-up attack. For the Warding Bludgeoned, this is defensive with upgradable support. The most defensive flail attack, leap into the air and trigger a burst of energy to grant defensive buffs to yourself and to all nearby allies before slamming down on nearby enemies. For the upgrade, Best Friends, we're activating the ability. You will become linked to a nearby ally, and this link is active. You both gain damage absorption and the ally deals more damage. For the Human Shield Ultimate, hitting a target with the ability while near an ally will grant them a buff. This ally's damage is taken and then reduced and absorbed by the flail wielder. Notable passives, Vital Suppressant. While above 50% health, damage taken is reduced. While below 50% health, block stamina damage taken is reduced. And to get an early feel for the weapon, be sure for the next PTR, we'll look forward to your release of the weapon on October the 3rd. Thanks for your support, and we will see you in Eternum. At the end of the day, I think I'm really excited to see another focused weapon come into play. I've been mainly maining a healer when I'm playing in groups, and mainly maining some kind of tank-ish, hybrid monster that that I'm sure is inefficient in some ways. That's why I'm also looking forward personally to the gear rework as well, because what they've stated, it sounds generally interesting. I'm very much looking forward to Rise of the Angry Earth, and it's crazy to think that we're just roughly 3 weeks away from the launch of the expansion. I will keep you guys up to date on my status of that. I was hoping to play some this weekend, but unfortunately life finds ways to keep me busy, and hopefully we'll be getting some more community game days, playing some New World together. If you guys are interested in jumping into the community beyond these videos, you can check the Discord link in the description. Thank you guys for the like support. Thank you guys for hitting that subscribe button and pushing the channel ever up upwards. And so we're going to keep covering New World here for y'all, because it truly, I think, is a game that a lot of people give a lot of hate to, weirdly enough, but it is doing fun and interesting things that I think that benefits the MMORPG genre as a whole. Anyway, guys, this has been Brian for New World Central. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully I'll see you next time. But until then, take care.